Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Half the Race Gone for the Simpact Aston Martin series. The first round of action and the first action we've had here on the channel for quite a while. It's been 2 months almost since we've had GT Sport live broadcasting on the menu. But a 2-course menu for tonight it is. And it's a 3-course menu of deliciousness here in the booth. As I'm joined by both of these lovely lads that are, of course, Traels and Maarten.
Yes, hello.
What a big pleasure it is. What a dream team it is. And, of course, we've got a really nice bunch of edibles to stay in the in the line of food. In the line of food. We've got this first GT4 support race coming up, the qualifying session just about to start. We're going to go over to live pictures here from the Red Bull Ring. We're watching Lemon 456 warming up. We are not far away from a 5-minute qualifying session for this sprint race. And we're looking at no kinds of real strategies. It's just an all-out race for the line, and we're gonna see just about how this goes. A slippery track it is as well, so a bit of a challenge here it is, even for the GT4 drivers, and a bit of unknowns as well on the grid, which is always nice to see. And by the way, can I just say hello, good evening, and a very, very warm welcome to all of these lovely early joiners.
We have a lot of rooting going on in the chat.
That's beautiful, yeah. There's
quite a bit of support going on there.
Italian support, that is.
You gotta love them.
It's looking to be the Armada in the...
Perfectly timed as well. This Lemon is flying around the track here. Bit of water kicking up from the rear. You see a lot of patches of wet there on the straight. It is indeed very soaked out there.
So qualifying underway, as mentioned, 5 minutes of it, so a bit of a rush they're in to get a good time. And with such a short race, qualifying position is going to be all important. I think a bit of a mix as well of what tires are being run here in qualifying. So some of the drivers opting for intermediates, some of the drivers opting for full wet. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to be the faster option.
Only one way to find out, isn't it?
Very much so. And with that said, as they do their warm-up lap here, let's go over the field. We're watching our good friend, Simpact teammate and organizer, Mr. Welsh, who's lining up for the support series. As mentioned before, we've got Lemon with a lot of support as well. We've got
Lemon so far definitely the most popular racer here. Taking the prize on that one.
We've got Rotorius. Is this Rotary? We've been wondering.
It's the talk of everyone, but we're not quite sure.
Someone tell us. Someone tell us. We've got
the man of mystery.
Then we have, of course, the man TSR Stick himself, who's also lining up for the GT4 series. Dirten, a well-known face he is of the Clean Race Network, the CRN boys, also fielding a couple of cars for the DBR1s. We've got TSR newcomer Tomsoft as well, or newcomer, he's not exactly that new to TSR, but it's the first bit of racing that we are bringing you.
Yeah, it's certainly his HTRG debut as a Simpact driver. That's fair enough.
We have even more support coming in for Lemon from Gabbiano here. Brilliant one. Lemon best driver. We'll see.
And Rotary is in the chat actually during qualifying, so Rotorius isn't Rotary?
Also Rotorius is not. Oh, and was that? Who was that? Someone had a bit of a dipper in turn 1.
Who is that?
Oh, that's Dirten.
Oh!
Going way wide and overshooting it.
That's lap 1 straight into the bin.
Oh, fair dinkum, who made it by it in chat shortly before the qualifying session as well. Perhaps he would do well in the future to maybe leave the cell phone outside of the race car.
Don't text and drive, kids.
By the way, from Team Mentalism, we have Anthony, another Italian. So should be some support for him as well. If it goes by pure nationalism in our chat.
And fair dinkum still texting. By the looks of things. If
So
you
yeah,
text,
hey-
you never drive.
Let's get our welcomes over with Mew. Welcome, Gabbiano. Wake, nice to have you along. Akam, Alessandro, the Italian gang. Catfish.
Yeah. Great to see so many Italian supporters come by and give the love for the races that they're familiar with here. Really cool to see.
Now let's go on board with GT Welsh, just about to complete his first flying lap. That's a 147 dead. And Lemon already bettering that stick, though a 10th better here on the first lap. And it's very close at the top of standings. Tomsoft getting in there as well. Top 4 within 0.3 of a second. Impressively close here. Especially given the conditions. So Tomsoft on intermediates. Stick is on intermediates. And Lemon is on full wet, so it seems the pace difference, that necessarily though isn't that big. 30 seconds left of qualifying. So this is gonna be
interesting to see what happens on this lap here. I almost feel like it looks like it's drying already. It does not look super wet out there, but mixed on the first lap.
Yeah, I wonder if Slipstream is going to play any hands into the qualifying laps, because we do have quite a couple of big straights on the Red Bull ring.
It's very much true, and a couple of cars are in good position to take advantage.
Rotorius getting loose here.
Just with a short second look. Oh, catches a puddle and misses the apex completely. And goes... That's a bit of a dance that it went off.
Here, look at it. He kept it going for the next left-hander as well.
The waltz kept on. The Austrian waltz kept on going for quite a while there. So Stick improving on that lap by almost 0.3 of a second to take pole position. I think at least no one's gonna better that 45.3 though. Tomsoft gets close to take second place.
Showing for the Simpact team here in the first round of the GT4 opener. P12 for Simpact. Quite a moment there. Lemon, the popular man in chat, winning out in that competition, takes third by the looks of things. Very good showing from him as well.
And thanks to Alessandro for your kind words. So let's have a look here at the grid if we can. We've got a minute to do so if we're not interrupted. TSR Stick on pole position. Front row lockout there for TSR with Tomsoft in second. And as mentioned before, the Swift Lemon is in third with Rotorius fourth. It's Haiti for the Arrows Racing team in fifth. For Mentalism in sixth place, it's Anthony with Frank Lucid in seventh, followed by Welsh. Then it's Fairdinkham for CRN in ninth place. Addy, though, also a well-known familiar face here on the channel in 10th. And then not setting a qualifying lap time, it's Alex Buncombe. So
is that going to be a last to first challenge? Because I'm not so sure if that's going to work out here.
I think you pretty much took the words right out of my mouth there. I was just about to mention that last to first challenge coming up. No, it's not about. It's about it being said. It's not about who says it. It's a team effort, boys.
Team effort.
Team effort, boys. So qualifying has ended. There's a quick look at the grid, and I do mean a quick look because it's over at the blink of an eye. And here is the race start graphics. We're gonna have a formation lap and a flying start, and gonna see just how that comes along. Flying start at 100 kilometers an hour, that is. And nice to see such a level A and A plus rated drivers for half the field here for the support series. So It might be that we haven't had Simpact GT Sport Racing for a while, but the return is strong indeed.
Yeah, looking very promising to show some good racing even here in the support series. A very high level indeed. Nice to see the Simpact boys do so well.
Oh, that's some aggressive tire warming.
Trying to clear the track of water clearly here. The rare water scraping tactic being deployed. They're like track Zambonis, basically. They're polishing off the track to give uniform poor grip everywhere.
Yeah, dynamic surface water isn't a thing in GT Sport, is it?
If someone flicked over right now, you could convince them that it's a form of curling. There's one car in the middle. It's being scrubbed along.
Look at
the
this.
one car not weaving.
Alex Buncombe has started his warm-up lap as we're watching right now. Oh, and he goes.
Oh,
he's going. Oh,
oh no!
What is he doing?
No!
He's damaged his car. No! He's
What?
actually
He has
managed to. How is he? It's probably
Alex,
gonna be.
what are you doing?
What's happened to? I mean,
Hold on to your wheel.
he's gonna catch up, but he's gonna have a damaged car. He's not making it easier for himself, is it?
It's going to be a very spicy last
Aggressive tire weaving going on in midfield there.
These drivers are not messing about. They want heat in these tires. We are talking Carolina Reaper levels of heat. Trying at least to be developed. I think we don't have an 11th car, sadly.
Mr. Buncombe has left the building.
For me, unfortunately, my roommate rubbed herself in the eye after chopping chili today. True story.
That's a bit of a rough anecdote there. Indeed. We're on board with Addy, who will then be filling the spot of currently last or starting last. But a lot can happen in these 6 short or 6 long laps of racing, especially in these conditions. To quote the good old Murray, anything can happen. Well, that's in Formula 1, but I think it goes for...
And it usually does.
And it usually does!
Anything can happen in Grand Prix racing. And it usually does.
So TSR stick,
Just drop the water in there.
they're lining up now for the rolling start. Oh, there's some lag happening. That's
Bit of
Haiti.
leg switching there. Oh no, bit of
Oh,
contact.
Haiti.
That looked like it got counted.
I think Haiti's alright. I think the rest of the cars are alright. I didn't see any damage. They're closely bunched up here before the start, and they're off. And Stick gets a flying start, taking advantage of that first position. We're on with the wank cam from the TSR driver. And into turn 1, and that is gonna get counted. And Tom Soft gets
big
taken
time.
out. Haiti is really all over the place. And that
Haiti
is a
everywhere.
big one.
Tomsov struggling to get back on the track safely there, but he does so, but he's lost out on a lot of positions.
Tom Soft, I think
Very much. There's a lot of netcode involved in that Puncherino.
I think you are correct there, Maarten. Tom Soft starting second. So that is anything but lucky for the German. We're having a second look. I think that was a...
Oh, might be a genuine Puncherino.
Could be a combination of the two here. It's still Stick leading now from Lemon, Anthony, Rotorius, Haiti, and Welsh. That's the current top 6.
Some of the cars getting a bit leery on that curb again. I think that's going to be a spot to keep an eye out for.
It is looking very sketchy in these conditions.
Haiti seems to have gotten his internet connection under control, at least for now. But
I was just thinking, but at the same time, he seems to be the car sliding a bit, so I think that's still a bit of lag going on. You see it there again.
I think you're right.
I think
And
you can see the cars of GT Welsh and Frank Lucid further back there. Both kind of holding off at this moment. They're a bit worried about making a move, even if they do have a shot at it. You can see GT Welsh just having a look there and holding off, and that actually puts him open for attack.
Frank Lucid, though, gets a poor exit from turn 1.
Yeah.
So that's not going to be... But up ahead, Welsh is looking for the opportunity. He's on the Verstappen outside. It's going to be late break if it's going to work. Oh. Where is the Welshman? He's still there. Still there.
Still there.
Still
Too
there.
bad. A lot of potential for a Rosberg move as well, but it didn't happen.
But look at here, Frank Lucid, though, with a big run on Welsh here up the inside, down towards the next right-hand hairpin. That's going to be a very good overtaking opportunity. More lag switching here from Haiti. Oh, this is looking very out of shape indeed. Oh!
I has retired from GT Sport. I am now a Schmetto Corser player.
Schmidt Kurse.
A Schmetto Corser.
Oh, look at all the cars drifting at the same place in the S's. Zoop. A little bit of a twitch through the wet spot. Stick still leading.
What's happened to Anthony here? He was in 3rd position for a little while. He got passed by Rotorius.
It's something we can catch. Oh, nope.
Nope.
But Rotorius got some very good pace. And right now, Lemon sort of being held up behind Stick. And still 4 laps to go. And it's anything but decided. And yes, Mew. That is Hades' internet connection.
Someone is parked on the minimap on the downhill section down there. I'm not sure what's going on down there.
An acute observation.
Oh, that's Eddie! That's Eddie!
No!
Oh!
No! Eddie, what are you doing?
And he's been parked there for a while.
Oh,
He might be texting. He might be
He might be
advice
texting.
from earlier. Oh
Here we
shit,
are.
got a text. Oh, some close racing going on. He's still being patient behind Stiggy, but it does seem like Stig doesn't really have much of an answer in terms of building the gap here. Very wiggly on the braking there, and you can see the difference in confidence.
So it's Lemon on full wets. It's Stick on intermediates. So there could be a bit of an advantage for Lemon. It seems to me he has a bit more control over the car.
Yeah, seems a lot more confident in the grip of the car, especially on the braking and turning.
We're on board with Stick now with the Wang Cam, of course. What would an HTRG broadcast be without sufficient amounts of Wang Cam?
Wang.
We will never know because we always have sufficient amount of Wang Cam. And it's certainly getting closer. Half a second.
I was hoping you were just going to say we always have sufficient amounts of Wang. That's one thing you could be sure of at HTRG.
So somehow
just there.
Haiti is hanging on to that 5th place, but it's quite a train having developed behind him. Tomsoft is up into 8th place.
Yeah, good recovery from him to get back into that top 10. He seemed to drop very far back down indeed.
Dinkum is in 9th and, well, last at the moment. Well, pretty close here. Stick hanging on to that half a second advantage.
It does seem that in chat, Wake is hinting at Welsh, complaining about the lag of Hay, so that might be some lag-assisted defense that he's got going on there to keep that train from building up.
It's an interesting choice of strategy.
Yeah, my mama used to to tell me if it looks stupid but it works, it ain't stupid. So
That's a good point indeed. I'm just thinking, look at this
Was she
Rotorius.
talking about you when she said?
A Rotorius in third is just a second away now from the rear end of Lemon. Has been steadily catching up to the two leaders over the last couple of laps. Anthony from Mentalism in fourth haven't really been able to keep up, so the CRN driver here really pressuring on. And it's now 0.8 of a second, so well within the slipstream as well. 2 laps yet to go, and it could all still change at the top 3.
you do have a bit of a gaggle developing further down the grid, it seems, coming into T1. The lag switch gaggle.
Oh, that's Frank Lucid, and he's gotten past on Haiti. And he did that some time ago, I believe. Outside of the reach of our cameras, more lagging.
Yeah, and you can see him breaking away from the Hegi train pretty quickly. Hegi goes defensive here. He almost doesn't need to do that. I bet a lot of the drivers behind are quite hesitant to make a move. Oh, and it looks very dodgy indeed, so no wonder.
Have a look here. Oh, this is the look from onboard GT Welsh. I'm not sure this is exactly what Welsh sees, but it's...
2021 racing stretch you're seeing right here, ladies and gentlemen. This is what Formula 1 is going to look like in 5 years.
Oh,
This is looking very sketchy to me.
Is he through?
Is he
through?
past?
Is he
I don't even... I think he is.
Looks pretty fast.
Haiti Swayze is now a position down into 7th with Welsh that's gotten up past and through. Rotorius haven't made any further gains, but Lemon getting very close to the rear end of TSR Stick now, as they're just about to start the final lap of racing.
Stig still not breaking by the pressure performed from Hay. He seems pretty confident, though I would be kind of nervous because Lemon seems very, very confident in what he's doing.
Lemon having put in the fastest lap of the race on that last lap, a 1:45.5, so hugely competitive. And with the run here, it seems
Stig not really holding a defensive line there. He even opens up the door a little bit.
Oh, and he goes a little bit wide too, and that opens the door for Lemon, who has the position for now at least.
Yeah, seems like he got a bit focused on outbraking there instead of holding the line.
And Rotorius also very much in the mix. Yeah, carrying too much speed into the corner. Lost out in the end stick. And Lemon, is crawling away, it seems. Into the final sector they come for the final time.
Rotorius is gonna try something here. You can just see it already.
Oh, this is where you made a move back in the days of the M3 series. Traels. Remember that? You almost pulled it off, but not quite. Still side by side they are. And Rotorius with the nose in front.
Has the run here. This is not a bad corner.
But Stick
to
got
try
the
around the
inside
outside.
line.
Stick. Really
What's
makes
it gonna
takes
be?
well
We're
on
gonna...
the inside there.
Lemon takes the victory, that's
Big
for
run
sure.
for Rotorius,
Oh,
big
got a very
run.
big run indeed.
And he doesn't touch him. That's crucial, but it's not going to be enough.
Less than a tenth of a second
Very
between the
good
two.
finish.
Brilliant, brilliant victory for Lemon. Stick takes second in front of Rotorius, Anthony, Frank Lucid, Welch, and the laggy Haiti. And then Tom Soft in 8th position. Let's just have another look. Oh, that's not gonna be. I wanted to have another look, but
In the end, a pretty comfortable win for the popular Italian. So we know that we have a lot of fans in chat that's feeling pretty happy about that right now. But yeah, he did look pretty comfortable for a bit of that race. He was just hanging out there behind Stiggy, who was on the intermediates. And I think maybe it's possible that on qualifying it was better on the intermediates, but it just looks so much more sketchy in the race. I think for sure the wets was a bit of an advantage.
yeah, indeed. Indeed. Swablu, it's Traels and Maarten alongside me for this broadcast. What a race this was. Plenty of action. And we're going to be waiting for the start of the main race lobby. And if that's going to be anywhere near as interesting as this one, I think we're in for a real treat as well. Hashtag real burp. Sorry.
Wouldn't be a GT Sports stream without it.
Yeah, that was a good support race. If the main race is going to be anything like this, I cannot wait to get started.
No, absolutely. We said it as well in the beginning. You knew it was going to be a class race, and it really was. A lot of good, clean action. A bit of a struggle with the connection. Too bad to see a bad connection have that much of an impact on the race. But everything apart from that was really good. And you also noticed the experience of some of the guys managing to not totally die from that lag. That was a job well done as well.
Indeed, they did a really good job, I think, of keeping their heads cool in behind, because that's not necessarily an easy thing to do. And hats off to them.
Isn't that to any sim racer that not dying is quite a challenge.
And in these tricky conditions as well.
Yeah, we do indeed have Fat Income coming in as well, complaining that the lag put him off. And that is a feeling I think everyone who sim races is familiar with. Just having that bit of an extra thing to think about can be enough to totally put you off your rhythm and off your pace. And it's one of those things that's really hard to recover from.
Yeah, very much so.
Ian's suggesting that we should get Zokyo in the booth, and I think he's more than welcome.
He's always welcome.
He's always welcome.
He's very much always welcome. Actually, Ian, I've had him in before, and let's just say I try to get him in on almost a weekly basis.
Yeah, isn't this actually also the place where he did his first commentating?
Yeah, I actually think so. Yeah,
I think it
might
very
have
well
been. Might have been. I think the last time he was in the HTRG booth, I think was with the 24 Hours for Anna event.
Yeah.
I think.
That's very much true,
Yeah.
Maarten.
Yep.
That was a good event. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was insane.
The night stint in that one.
That was long.
That was really long.
Long indeed. So we're just
but
waiting.
It was good fun and for a good cause. So
Yeah. Just to explain, we're waiting for the main race lobby to pop up in a short moment. We will, of course, be right back with live pictures for you to enjoy. And thanks, Mew. We do our best to keep you entertained for the duration of your stay here on Half the Race Gone. This is where we need a kind of a bogus commercial block or something to throw in. We need to. If anyone out there is feeling creative, don't hold back. You know, throw together a commercial and send it to us on the Discord. We'll throw it in the broadcast for sure. I won't hold back, you know. So the lobby's up, I'm told. And a good point, Chris, by the way, is of course Welsh. It's a very good point actually in these not really full wet conditions. Which tire is actually the faster? I mean, Lemon was on the full wet, Stick was on the intermediates. We did see Stick have some very good pace, single lap pace in qualifying, but not sure if that was just down to the fact that they only had 2 or 3 laps to put in.
Yeah, you certainly got the feeling that running the wets was a bit more consistent over the course of the race. Because you could see as soon as Stick came under pressure, there was a bit of an unsettling of the car compared to Lemon behind them, who seemed very comfortable in his machine. Machine.
Macchina. Grande macchina.
Grazie, ragazzi.
Grazie, ragazzi.
You should come by the chat and just say that. That would be brilliant.
So by the way, this is our very first look at a car that was newly added to GT Sport, the Aston Martin DBR1, the GT1 machine from 2006.
Yeah. It's a bit of an oldie.
It's a bit of an oldie.
An oldie but a goodie.
It's a real goodie.
Oh, round robins with a bit of a shaky moment. Schosse. Feel like we've seen this German before. And there is rotary. So the rotary is actually here racing. Hopping down to the entry list.
I'm still not getting a...
Yeah, can we get some live pictures, please?
Change the scene, my guy.
Oh!
Please. We cannot see.
That's a very good point. There you are.
There it is.
Someone should have told me that a bit earlier, but all right.
I was just unsure if it was the stream lagging or that there is a short moment of lag when you switch between the
Yeah. Oh well, we
which
fixed it.
screen has priority.
Yeah.
It was a pretty brief error. I don't think it's worth.
And
not even
what's
worth
a
talking
half-a-ways
about.
gone
Shut up.
stream without
Yeah,
a
shut
technical
up.
error?
Yeah, you wouldn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
Oh, and whoever manages the Arrows Racing Series chat. Oh, that's Hagee, clearly.
Yeah, that's how you...
Yeah.
That was a pretty quick reaction if you remember the lag in the YouTube stream compared to that. It was pretty quick. Quicker than his internet connection, at least.
Hey.
Hey, very pretty Simpact Aston
Oh, would
Martin
you
here.
look at it?
Yeah.
Would you just look at it?
Oh.
Would
Look
ya?
at this. Oh,
Would
look at
ya?
this.
Aura here for TX3 LDLC.
It looks to be almost VLX sort of paint scheme, is what I was thinking. First thought. But
That's
might
actually
be.
true.
Yeah.
That's actually true, and not with the usual almost nuke shot green color.
Yeah, the green and the blue is what I'm used to.
Yeah, exactly. Here's Nico 18 as well for CRN. Quite an interesting field here. Just going over the teams that are fielding cars here today. We've got 3 Simcat cars, 2 cars entered from CRN, 2 cars entered from TX3, 2 cars as well from Mentalism, 2 cars from TBD Esports. We have 2 cars from Netso, 2 cars from Paradox, and that rounds off the grid here. 15 cars.
That is
for,
a very nice grid.
That's a solid grid indeed.
That's a very solid one. So expecting a good race. 32 laps it is for this main race. So a bit more of an endurance race, if you will. That will also have an element of strategy to it. And speaking of strategy, let's have a look at the rules for the main series. That's of course with the lobby settings and all. So as you've probably figured out from the support race, the GT4 race, both intermediates and wets are available. No tuning, tire and fuel ×2. Of course, heavy damage as well. And all other settings set to real. No traction control allowed, as you can also see. Pretty much for how some of these drivers at least are having a tough time keeping the tail of these DBR1s in check.
It is a beast of a wagon, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty brutal compared to a modern GTE or GT3 machine. And it's quite a bit heavier as well, I get the sense, which is definitely never easy in the wet either.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna see the drivers that play Euro Truck Simulator in their spare time having an advantage over the other
But I mean,
drivers.
do you ever see a racing event where the guys that play Euro Truck Simulator don't have an advantage? Because I don't think that's a thing.
I don't know.
You heard it
I
here
don't
first, folks.
And you, by the way, didn't see that comment, but fake ads for products we want. That's not a bad idea. We could do that.
What
I
are
was
you
thinking about.
suggesting?
I was just. I don't know. I wanted other stuff. Candy, coffee. I'm totally gonna do a coffee ad.
Yeah.
Like regardless, just for the coffee of it.
Just like a GTA style fake ad for
Yeah.
products we like.
Exactly. That was exactly the spirit of things.
Like the chocolate ads, like the chocolate ads in GTA, melts in your mouth and in your hands.
So currently Nico 18 fastest here in practice with a 1:37.9 and the only of the drivers to dip under the 1:38 marker. A Murray Walker voice changer ad. That would be amazing. Yeah. Like the Murray filter. Also, we got qualifying getting underway as well. Oh, and we got Vira Pinin from Mentalism. Got another Swede in here. Tree cam as well. Would you look at these wonderful trees?
No, you're underestimating it, Jim. It's the tree and face cam you're looking at here. One of the biggest rarities, and indeed a trusted and beloved sign of good luck. So definitely an omen of good faith and of good fortunes for the race to come. As we took a moment of silence there for the remainder of the tree and face cam. I hope everyone enjoyed that as much as we did here in the booth.
I've learned not to just quickly hop away whenever we get presented with these moments of, especially tree and fence cam. That is, you mentioned Traels, quite a special thing to have.
It's the double
going
rainbow
on.
of GT Sport.
So we have all the drivers on the warm-up lap now. And as with the GT4 series, just 5 minutes of qualifying, and that's including, of course, out laps. So effectively, that's going to be 2 laps worth of qualifying, iRacing style, basically.
Yeah, very much so. Boys really looking hasty down the final sector there. Like all bunched up. Is that a part of the strategy, you think?
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, with the short qualifying format like this, you don't want to let the slipstream go if you have a guy within reach of you. So I think some of these guys come out and then they're just basically racing full speed for 5 minutes, trying to maintain the slipstream as much as possible. The thing with a pretty stacked field like this one as well is that, similar to in real life, the drivers sort of cancel each other out sometimes. So you need every little advantage you can get.
Yeah, so that 0.2 of a second on a lap is what makes or breaks it often. As we saw as well with the GT4 series, the top 4 was until Stick improved by 2.5 tenths there on the final lap, but they were with 4 drivers within 3 tenths of a second. So it is really on the margins here. By the way, Ethan, welcome, mate. Always a pleasure.
Hello.
Hello.
Is it us? No, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, fair. CRN is indeed a family. Got your... you probably have your loud drunk uncles as well and stuff like that in the CRN family. I know we have our loud drunk uncles in the HTRG community.
You gotta have your loud drunk uncles.
Is it even a family if you don't have a loud drunk uncle involved?
Here's Aura on the first lap going 1:37.9. Very much a competitive lap. Shasha third fastest. Here comes Stick. And Dirten. Rotary is 7th so far. As I say that, he's down into 9th.
Dirten, is that the one for 4 o'clock?
It's a Scandinavian inside joke.
You sort me out.
That's a Scandinavian inside joke if ever I've heard one. But
Sorry guys, I had to do it.
yeah, fair is the embarrassing uncle of your family. I'm the embarrassing uncle of the HTRG family. I'll take that on myself. So Aura provisionally on pole in front of Nico 18 by 0.2 of a second. And Grosso, the Portugueser for Netso Racing, is third with teammate Shase fourth. Then it's Round Robins in fifth for CRN, Sparks in sixth for TX3. And then it's Stick, Beerpin, it's T5 Black, the Swedish survivor, currently in ninth, about to improve by the looks of things. Oh, Aura improves there by a 10th. How will it be for the rest of the gang? Shase put in a 1:38.2. Beerpin goes fifth fastest.
It is looking close at the pointy end of the grid, though.
Very much so. It's 5 cars within half a second. T5 1:38.6, but that's not going to be enough to improve. 17 thousandths of a second off of Stick. And here you have a very swift look. As always, I don't know why they programmed that.
That is very swift.
That is like, why don't you give us some time? What kind of...
Yes, please.
You can... No, yeah, you can totally see the scores. You can watch them from now to now.
Like when? Now!
Now!
Now! So,
Need the scores now!
in just about a warm-up laps time, we will have 32 laps of racing going live here in the DBR1 class. It's categorized as Group 3 machines, and that does make sense. Although, I expect them to be a little bit different from modern GT3 cars. Aura from TX3 in front of CRN's Nico 18. And it's going to be another TX3 machine right behind the teammate there with Sparks in third. Putting in a very good qualifying lap and outpacing the two Netso Racing machines in fourth and fifth. And pushing down Beerpin into sixth place. Round Robin for CRN in seventh. And then it's Stick in eighth.
Yeah, and Jimmy just remarking that it would appear that they've attracted a lot of fast boys to this series, and just listening to that readout you just made, I would tend to agree.
Certainly.
The Zambonis are going once again. From some angles, I feel like they almost kind of have a bit of a GTR look to them, a lot of these liveries. Guess it's because they all accentuate the front bit. See, these ones look like slimmer somehow.
The two Simpact art cars of Stick and T5 Black. Then Tomsoft in the third of them. They're all bunched up, but towards the heavy end of affairs. Further down there is Rotary in 12th. Sailor, the Norwegian, in 13th. And Ayrton Spenna, the Brit.
Ayrton Spenna.
It's like it's lining up for a new Kenny versus Spenny episode. Senny versus Spenny. And you can see it's taking a bit of focus to weave in the corners there. Just overdoing it a little bit. You have to wonder how much heat they actually build in the rain. I'm not familiar with the way the water affects temperature on tires, but I'm not sure you'd need to weave that much in all sims.
I'm not sure you're ever like
You'd ever need to weave that much.
No, exactly.
No one should ever weave that much. And here we go.
They are making it nice and cozy.
We are, and we're off, and they are very close on their way down to turn 1.
Oh, big weaving going on in the back there. They're all looking for opportunities side by side coming in here. Nico and Aura.
We're on board here with Nico having a look back at the rest of the field. They all seem to have made it safely through, by the looks of things at least. No big shunts behind.
Looking at the minimap, I'm not sure if I would agree. Someone is getting left behind.
Someone is
indeed.
Definitely way out of it. A long ways to go, so they can still make a bit of a recovery. Simpact going off the track there, crawling up the inside. Was that T5 the Swede?
Good question. Nico 18 having taken the lead there up in turn 3. That's Aura sending it right back, and Sparks going off to the left of the track. No!
Sparks looks like he just got put off a little bit there by the aggressive racing going on up ahead.
It's a hot battle for the lead here right from the off. Sailor having made an amazing start up into 5th place.
Oh, massive climbing for Sailor.
Yeah.
Pin up into 6th position as well.
Certainly not bad from the Swede. Let's have another look quickly at the start. You can just see here from on board Pin. See if that'll make us any wiser as to what happened in turn 1 and who got left behind. Gonna have a look here behind.
Ooh.
Oh!
All around.
Oh,
and
that's...
Grosso goes around.
Yeah, that's...
No, that was not in Grosso. Who was that?
Who is that?
Who that?
Round Robins. Round Robins
no.
and Sumsoft is in the pits as well. And that's for damage repairs to the back side of that car. Fresh. What's that going to be? Intermediates going on? Or is it going to be a switch to full wets here, perhaps? That's a good question here. Aura, Nico 18 still going forward into turn 3. And they're exchanging positions. Here comes the cutback. Brilliant racing, though. Is it going to be? There's a bit of a... Oh, they both get squiggly there on the exit.
Massively struggling for traction there as they come out of it. Oh. Nico makes it stick for now.
Puts Aura around to the outside.
That is a big move.
And it's gonna be...
And this is the inside now, as long as he can keep it narrow enough. A bit of contact there, sliding on the curb.
No damage. Aura re-grabs first place. And we are on board.
Even though they're scrapping quite heavily, they still seem to be making a break for it compared to T5 and P3. So I do wonder how fast they're going to be.
T5 is up into 3rd place. That's absolutely brilliant driving from the Swede.
He's made a massive run.
He's made up 6 or 7 places in the opening 2 laps.
Swedish survivor really surviving out there once again.
Doing a little more than surviving here, I'd say. Really climbing the ranks. Shots in 4th. Sailor having done very well as we mentioned. Up into 5th place is Pin 6th. The Scandinavians are excelling in these sketchy conditions. and Grosso in 7th. Ayrton Spanner up into 8th as well. We've got Splurge 9th. Rotary in 10th.
Really strong race from Ayrton Spanner as well.
Yeah, from bottom?
Starting at the back of the field in 14th. Getting through all the scrum P8.
Yeah, at this rate, he's going to be in first by lap 8.
Quick maths.
Oh, we have someone in the pits. That's Stick. So Stick must have had some kind of issue as well.
Unfortunate after what was a promising start.
Very much so. And I feel like we haven't seen the last turn of the tables in this race.
Turntables.
So Aura and Nico still within half a second of one another, and they are close. Nico with a bit of a drift there. I would like to have another look at that because the CRN driver in a flamboyant style gets onto the curb. Just brings it through there sideways.
He's not lifting, is he?
He certainly isn't. And the gap is growing down to T5 now. It's 1.8 seconds. The Swedish survivor... Sorry?
Meanwhile, the Swedish survivor, meanwhile, maintaining his gap down to P4 at the moment. And I gotta admit, I was sort of looking for him to come under pressure by that train starting P4 with Schosse, Sailor, and Vierpinnen all running pretty closely together and about to be joined up by Grosso as well. But for the moment, T5 has some pace around him.
And the driver is
Going
following.
side by side up ahead again.
Oh, there they are indeed. The drivers that are keeping up with Schosse, well, it isn't Mr. Anyone. And it's certainly not a Mr. Nobody that they're keeping up with. Putting under pressure, Schosse, a very quick gentleman as well. And it makes the exploits of the drivers in front all the more impressive. Close they are. Aura, Nico going for it.
And you can just see how much input it takes all the time to keep these cars going. Once you get back on the throttle, it really gets loose. Just look at this. Sliding all the way through. That's pretty late. That's got to be 3rd, maybe even 4th gear. And he's still slipping and sliding. Big spit of flame as they come through there.
They certainly are a handful here. Sailor is in 4th place. Schosse now in 5th. So I think Schosse lost the position to the Norwegian there.
Yeah, and he's under big pressure from
Vierpinnen, look at this! Oh my!
Still even a bit of his Chinese takeaway there. Initial D reference. Because it wasn't Chinese takeaway, it was probably Japanese, but you know.
Oh. Well done to keep it going, though.
Yeah, really good.
Vierpinnen here getting the launch, though, and getting the run from turn 1 up through turn 2 and into turn 3. He got the inside line on Schosse. He's putting on the squeeze.
Commence the Rosberg squeeze.
Schosse doing well to maintain momentum.
Schosse getting a perfect exit.
A bit of a heavy foot from that 4 o'clock break he had. And he does go sliding a little bit.
And look, that might open the door for Grosso in behind. Oh, that's late braking from Vierpinnen and brings it in perfectly. Beautifully driven.
Strong defense there.
On board we are here with Schosse. We've got Vierpinnen here on the inside. Go for Schosse to defend this one. Just hear how patient the German is on the throttle, and it pays off.
Scandinavian finding himself right back in that Netso sandwich.
And they're all... That's Ayrton Spanner getting a bit of a squiddly moment in behind. Look at that. And then again, exiting the curb. Whoop! That's like a big
slides.
old... Yeah,
really some good shots coming out of it as well. But he is actually climbing up towards the Netso sandwich here. is Aston Spanner, so he might not be done with the climbing. I still think Maarten's quick maths might be a bit much for him, but we'll have to see how it plays out.
1 lap to go. You don't know.
You never know.
Nico 18 was very close to the rear end of Aura as they came over the line here, and he gets close in turn 3 again, but Aura defends it well, gets the good exit.
We do have another Scandinavian appearing over the horizon, it seems. That T5 is gaining a little bit of time.
He's absolutely closing the gap. I was just about to say as well, it definitely looks like T5 is climbing, and that's going to put some pressure on Nico as well to consider making the move here, because he has been looking not too uncomfortable behind Aura. I think he might have a bit of pace around him still.
Vierpin has gotten passed on Chasse.
Ooh.
And we've got
This one we
pictures
have
of
the
it this time.
documentation for. So it actually happened this past. That's pretty cool.
Vierpin on the inside into turn 4.
Pretty
we go.
textbook. Not much Chasse can do about that. Chasse does seem to be suffering quite a bit for pace here. He has been dropping down for much of the race after it got going. He had a brilliant start, but then just has not been able to maintain his position.
Indeed, and Ayrton Spanner also getting the better of Ingrosso, so the Netso cars
He's
suffering
definitely
at this
is climbing.
point.
He's right on the back of Chasse as well. He's going to make a quick attempt at Chasse as well, I think.
Very good pace from Ayrton Spanner.
Just look at this exit difference there. He is slipping and sliding everywhere, but he's keeping it under control.
And he's gaining.
And he's gaining.
But look at the lead battle, not to forget. They are still separated by no more than 0.3 of a second. And Nico...
T5 is bigger than it was last time we saw. He might be falling back a little bit. I did notice that Sailor, who's up into P4 behind him, is within close proximity of T5 now as well.
Yeah, that's just 1.4 seconds. So, Sailor still in with a shot in the number 8 car.
Things do seem to be slowly but steadily be settling down.
As we say that, look at
As
here,
we
Chasse,
say-
Ayrton Spanner. They're separated by less than half of a second. And right behind them is the second Netso car of the Portugueser himself, Ingrosso. Further down, there's a 3-car gaggle seeming to develop. I think that's around 10th, 11th, and 12th position. Oh, that's a big slide for Ayrton Spanner. And out in front. Oh, what has happened to Nico? Nico's lost time. 3.5 seconds.
Something's happened.
Something has certainly happened. Look at this. T5 sailing right past, so it's been up in the S's, I think, exiting those. Might have had a small excursion into the grass, the gravel, or the like.
Yeah, it's a shame we don't quite catch what was the cause of his lack of pace there, but T5 Black taking no prisoners and just yeeting it on past. But he is going to come under immediate pressure here from Nico. Nico doing well to respond very quickly. He's on the inside. Cutback is very much an option here.
Bit of a squeeze again.
T5 going for the surviving strats that we know him and love him for, and wisely choosing to just hold off for now. I think being behind Nico isn't the worst place to be at this point.
But look at this Aura, who was clear by a couple of seconds before. Seems to have lost out on some of that advantage as well. 1.5 seconds. Is that going to be enough for the German to be able to run away from this bunch behind? Sailor is really catching up as well.
I mean, it's definitely the first time he's had clean air behind him, or relatively clean air behind him, but that's a good thing and a bad thing, because it's also, once you've been trying to run away from this guy for so long and he's suddenly not there anymore, that can be pretty unsettling in and of itself. So not always too surprising to see them lose a bit of pace as they realize that now is the time and now you need to go, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Also happening in the midfield, Ayrton Spanner is now up into 6th place, having gotten past on Chasse. And it's now the two Netso racing cars battling it out against one another.
We do have TSR Jimmy down in pit lane as well, telling us that Nico apparently has had a spin, but that was a really quick spin then, wasn't it?
Yeah, very quickly executed spin, if that's the case. Indeed, he's still only
Ballerina sort of spin.
1.5. Yeah.
Yeah, that must have been an +8 POET.
I think at that point, it doesn't really constitute a spin. It's more of a 360, really.
Yeah. That's what I'd call it as well. So T5 now getting under pressure for real from Sailor here. The Scandinavian battle for third place is coming alive. Oh, that's a big send from Sailor.
Contact.
A bit of a mind punt going on as well then.
Yeah. First a bit of a mind punt and then some contact. I think that might be what happened. Hard racing, but nothing too terrible just yet. Hopefully we can see a bit of a response from T5 as well.
Oh, that's from a way back.
Let me take you back to my time.
Look at this. This is from a long way back.
Commence
there
a
is-
big send.
There is a
T5
bit of
taking
a-
precautionary actions there.
Yeah, there was
he
a bit of a
did
punt as
seem
well.
to sort of avoid it as well. That was maybe not the cleanest of moves.
He just
Make
been
it
caught
stick
out.
in the end.
Big moment there for Sailor exiting the final corner. And Ayrton Spanner is now up into 5th place. So whoever... That's Fearpin down in 9th. And so whatever happened to Fearpin, I'm not sure we can catch it. Nope. Bit of a shame because the Swede from Team Mentalism having lost a lot of ground here. And it doesn't look like it was a pit stop either. Nope. We're a third of the way through the race now. Sparks having a look into turn 3. Oh, and a big drift from Fearpin.
Yeah, Fearpin has looked like he has a bit of a heavy foot for this kind of rain racing. He's probably also on the intermediates then, I'd guess.
Good call. Good call indeed. He is on the intermediates. So, in 9th, indeed, Fearpin. 10th is Sparks. 11th is Splurge. Tomsoft really on the rear end of Splurge in front. They're having a close battle as well. And then it's Round Robins and Stick a bit away behind. They've had some incidents earlier on here. Aura has lost ground and is now just 1.1 second down to Nico.
So that's a solid slipstream for Nico for the last laps here. The last laps for the remainder of this situation here. He certainly does not seem to be able to pull away. Nico did for a while there look sort of comfortable in the slipstream of Nico and in Aura, in the slipstream of Aura, and I think we are seeing him making his way back up to him now.
We have Aura getting a bit of a shoddy exit from turn 1. And that cost a lot of time because Nico is right on the bumper. He had a Nilfisk attached to the front. Oh, and here he comes. Wasn't even a little bit of contact. He was actually late with the dive.
Yeah, it would have been a bit of a late move, but also quite some widening of the car from Aura there as he just slowly drifts across the track from right side to left. Maybe a bit late for my liking, but he does stick to his line, and Nico sort of fails to react. But I think also if he had to make an adjustment at that point, it would be a very late send.
Yeah, it would. It would indeed. So still Aura leading Nico. Sailor now up into 3rd place. T5 Black in 4th. Chasse is now in 5th. But they're a little bit away behind in Grosso, hanging on to the tail of his rear. And his teammate in front. It's Rotary in 7th. Sparks for TX3 is in 8th. In front of Fearpin. Ayrton Spanner has fallen down the order and is down into 10th place now.
Some sort of incident. That might have been the driver. We have Skull TBD in the chat letting us know that someone had a spin that we missed.
Yeah.
And I was honestly just thinking that was Nico, but quite possible indeed that was then Ayrton Spinner.
Bit of a shame after the very strong opening to the race from Ayrton Spinner. That's a lot of the good work that's been undone. Oh, that's a big squiddly moment as well for Splurge coming out of turn 1, and that might open the door for Tomsoft into turn 3. He's certainly close, but is he close enough? Oh, there's some action going on up ahead as well. Not close enough here. These two, however, are indeed close. And up ahead, Shossin and Grotzo is battling as well. Sparks and Rotary are going at it here. With Fear Pin for company.
Oh, these two have come close together.
But they're just tandem drifting by now.
I was just about to say that was just a tandem drift. Want to have another look at that one? That was absolutely
keeping it going in the back there, and Grosso as well.
That was absolutely pretty.
You can't tell me this is not Formula Drift.
Here it comes. Whoop, whoop.
Team Netso going for the style points on this one.
Oh, and Nico having taken the lead.
Oh,
Nico has taken the lead. Outside of the reach of our cameras. And he's gained a second. Already 1.2 seconds.
For just a moment, the production crew gets dazzled by the Formula Drift going on mid-pack.
Yeah.
And that's when Nico makes his move. No curse of the commentator for him tonight. So T5 Black still doing well, sort of clinging on to Sailor. Sailor clearly is on a very good pace. Last time we had a look, it was about 0.6, 0.7 of a second. This time we're up to about 1.3 and just slipping off the slipstream now. 1.4 between Aura and Nico. But this is the most crucial moment of the race. It might well be for Aura, because I did get the impression that Aura was maybe needing just that last 1 or 2% in relation to Nico's pace on the current track conditions and with the current amount of fuel. But there's so many factors to think about in a 30-lap race as well.
Certainly
Do
true.
we have any insights on the strategies being used by the guys on the pointy end?
That's a good question.
Any ideas? Yeah.
They've used half a tank of fuel by now, so I think they will need to either really save or to come in for a splash and dash tire-wise. I can only imagine that they will be alright, although they could, if they're not careful, be lighting up the rear tires a bit too much.
Shout out Netso Racing.
Good point. And by the way, thanks everyone for tuning in here tonight with us. It's such a great pleasure to have you all along, watching along with us here for
Much appreciated.
our return to GT Sport broadcasting here on Half the Race Gone. At least I've been on commentating duties for the ESGT for a couple of races in their GT4 series, but that's not here on the channel. So it's always nice to see such a crowd. Thanks.
Home crowd.
Yeah, exactly. A home crowd. And of course, if you like what you see here, do give us a like, as it aids us in our further travels. And if you want to see more, feel free to subscribe. We've got the IGTL Nations Teamed Nations Cup, to be precise and correct, coming up this weekend, with qualifying on Saturday and the main race on Sunday. So, and we're going to be having some of the top drivers of the world. We've got Mick Hissel, just to name one of them, not to say too much. We've got some really good drivers, not to say too much. on the grid.
Yeah, speaking of gossip in that sort of lane, have you seen James from Veloce is now going to be racing in Jenson Button's McLaren 720 GT3?
No.
Ooh.
Yeah, pretty crazy. We were commentating on that guy. He's been in a few of the IGTL races, and I think that's not the only thing we've featured him on the channel in either. But you know, he went ahead and won the world's fastest gamer too. I guess it is technically.
Yeah.
But now he's gotten this offer, and he's going to be racing basically professionally with Jenson Button's team, the prick. So big congratulations to him. I just saw that. I think it was earlier today. Pretty sick news.
Yeah, it is truly cool to see that it's now becoming more and more. I won't say normal, but it's happening more and more that we see top talent sim racers actually transform. Let's say move across to real racing. Here we have Grosso having left the building.
Ooh.
Bit
Oh no.
surprised to see that. Where was he? In 5th place.
Yeah, he was. He's still
seems
there
like
at this
it's,
point. He's still.
Yeah, he is still there, and he just disconnects.
Oh.
Yeah, there has to be a connection issue.
Big
Yeah,
F.
that's
Big
yeah.
F. Can we get some Fs in chat for Netzer Racing?
That is
Putting on
hugely-
such a good show.
Hugely
Pain.
That
disappointed.
in there.
Pain. We're gonna do it ourselves then.
Yeah. The self-sufficient boys.
Self F, a rare one.
And by the way, Skull, thanks for subscribing. We do appreciate it, and we hope to see you around for many more broadcasts. #RealBurb.
If anyone was ever to make a trailer for the channel, we'd have to have a real burp in there.
Yeah, or 2.
Anything else would just be a lie.
False advertising, indeed.
Illegal.
So Nico 18, 2.7 seconds of a lead now being built upon to Aura, who does seem to have fallen ever so slightly off the pace. But the same can be said for Sailor, who now seems to be coming under pressure actually from the Swedish survivor in the battle, the Scandinavian battle for P3 that's currently happening.
Absolutely, he's made up a bit of the gap. He was almost 1.5 seconds out at one point. Big slide for the Norwegian there. How did he not lose more time? He was sideways there for a moment.
Yeah. Yep. Very much was. He kept it going, and he's keeping the advantage. Seem to be very close, these two.
Seems like a large part of the driving strategy in attacking this car is just to keep your foot planted and sort it out with the wheel. Which is always such a laugh to do as well.
I think these drivers are having a lot of fun in these conditions, to be honest. Here, Dirten up into 7th place. Might be due to pit stops. That might be due to just your bad luck of others. The slide.
Oh, bit of a slide from Nico there as well.
Yeah, I want to have another look at see how much of a slide that was. Oh, that's a big old one. Well caught. Quickly. Fast reactions. And
Yeah, they're always dangerous, those low speed ones. Those are frequently the ones that catch you out the most.
F. Grosso and indeed Frank. Such bad luck. And it's not the first time we've seen this from the Portuguese having a bit of trouble with the internet connection. Chasse Sparks and Fearpin are also now within around a second of one another. So a three-way gaggle slowly developing here for... That's the battle for 5th place.
We have Skull in the chat also mentioning that Sailor must be saving fuel, and I have to say that the halfway point for the fuel was around lap 14 and a half. Oh, we have damage.
Sailor's picked up damage, yeah.
Oh,
So that's not gonna aid Sailor the slightest bit at all. And here goes T5 up into third place. No real drama in that one.
Sailor must have been off track somewhere, because where do you pick up front wheel damage?
Yeah, that has to be contact with the wall somewhere indeed. But it also looked like Sailors had lost out on a couple of seconds here. Sailor, though, sending it back on T5 here into turn 3. And keeping the battle for third place alive. T5 is right on the tail, literally, of the Norwegian. Being put towards the outside here. Into turn 4.
Yeah, might as well. No. Sailor definitely not planning to give that place up, even though the damage that he's running.
Certainly not. Keep on fighting. Here, Sjosse Sparks and Fierpinnen. They're going absolutely maximum attack as well. Fierpinnen's rear tires are looking a little worn by now here on lap 19. Aura's pitting in. That was a huge moment for Fierpinnen. We're gonna have just a quick second look, because that looked... Whoa. The far way out there, Aura coming in. Here Sparks is in as well on lap 20. Both the TX3 machines getting the pit stops sorted with. Rotary is in as well. So that leaves Nico now leading Sailor and T5, but of course Nico has a pit stop to do as well. We have our man in the pits, Jimmy, talking about T5 taking it easy on fuel as well. But is that going to be enough? Gonna have to see.
You could try and do the overtake in the pits if you're having to take less fuel than the driver up ahead. You could perform sort of an undercut in the same lap.
It very much could. Under these conditions, it could also, if you're close to the car in front, could give you that slight bit of air behind as you come out. That could allow you to break away from a car, such as Sailors, who are carrying damage but seem to be very difficult to break away from, with the slipstream still in effect here. Nico comes in with quite a bit of less fuel than Aura had.
He's really been hammering it, it would seem.
It's going to be interesting if Aura can get close. Oh, Aura very much can. Oh, Nico's quickly out, actually. Let's see, that might be a little less close than I actually just thought initially. And 2.5 seconds they're apart. We've got Tomsoft in as well from P8. Fierpinnen is in. And out again as well. Hello to Freak and Joni. Warm welcome to ya. We've got Tomsoft rejoining in 11th place. Sailor and T5 still going at it. Let's see how long they're going to be staying out for, because it's going to be very much more than a lap or two. They're going to be holding up Nico, which could prove costly.
Cheers, Mew. We'll see you around, as per usual.
Yeah. Three-way gaggle we had before for 5th place has very much been broken up by the round of pit stops. Fierpinnen and Sparks, they're still close. Fierpinnen has actually jumped Sparks in the pits here. Sailor pitting in. T5 is going to try to perform this undercut. And let's see where Sailor comes out. There's 11% of fuel left in the tank. It's of course going to be a fresh set of tires as well. They've got 12 more laps of racing left here. And for sure, T5 isn't going to keep a hold of first place as he pits in, as it's 2.8 seconds down to Nico 18, seeming to just having kept on the pace. As I say that, it's 1.6 seconds down to Aura.
It definitely has come down.
And they're both on the intermediates now. Aura seems to have taken advantage of the fresh tires. And it might be that the German is just a little faster on fresh rubber. And then the pendulum of advantage swings in the direction of Nico's as the tires gets worn. Shasa in 4th place so
Another bit
far.
of pace, another bit of time gained there for Aura. The gap definitely is coming down. And T5 Black being told by Crew Chief Jim to just push it with all he can. Crew Chief Jim, pretty unreliable at the best of times, but I think this is a bit of solid advice.
Yeah, in the tank, that's true, Lorenzi. In the good
I
old...
expect T5 to come in this time, though he doesn't.
He doesn't, he keeps it out, the Swedish survivor. And why wouldn't he? Still on a bit...
He's got loads of fuel.
Yeah, he's got like
left.
20-some%, it seems. Or around 20% of fuel left in the tank, so he's not going to be able to go all the way. But he's going to be able to stretch it for a while. And Aura is certainly gaining in the bigger perspective of things here. Round robins in for a pit stop. And the second of the two CRN machines. Rejoining in 12th position. Interesting to see actually that Nico isn't really gaining a lot, at least on T5, but Aura catching up to the Brit in front quite quickly. Is now within a second or just thereabouts. It's Shasa further 5.5 seconds down. Fearpitten and Sailor going for it here. And they're too wide at the exit of turn 4. And Sparks right there as well for company. Oh, is that a bit of a nudge? And a big slide there for Fearpitten. Just about keeps it under control. Amazing driving from the Swede. And as they're too wide, Sparks trying to get involved. Oh, I'm just thinking, was there contact in that situation? That was a big moment for Sparks in front as well. And they are really going at it, I think.
Big slides up ahead.
Yeah, oh, T5's in, and he's exiting in 3rd place, just thereabouts. As he's got Shasa now on the outside. Where did Shasa come from? That's absolutely impressive. Oh, Shasa has not been in yet, I think, at least. So either Shasa is fuel saving to go a no-stop, which could actually be the case. And that might
still be very close to still working. And Sailor, that's a good point. He's dropped back quite a bit. Can we see the gap from T5 to Sailor?
Sailor is battling
Sailor
with...
going side by side with Sparks here.
And that Sparks...
I do start to wonder if anything would have happened to Sailor, because that gap to T5 is massive.
That's 10 seconds. That pure traffic? And T5 just having a clear track ahead?
Yeah,
until
but a
pitting in?
10-second undercut, that's well impressive. I'm not sure if that's the case, to be honest.
It could be a mix of T5 having saved a lot of fuel, having spent less time in the pits, and then Sailor being caught in traffic at the same time. See here at this point, Sailor half a second down on the personal best time. Nico now back into the lead, but it's still with Aura closing in. It's 0.9 of a second between the two now, as we're within the final 10 laps of racing. Schusse is holding on to third, but it's only just with the Swedish survivor on fresh tires for company. He's looking to grab a podium place as well. And indeed, Jimmy Schusse does seem to be a bit of a strategical mind, very patient, and often plays the long game. But let's see if it's going to be possible even to defend from T5. It's quite a while.
Yeah, I mean, if he's still trying to fuel save all the way through, it's going to be very tough to really fight it out. Very aggressive move there from T5, but it's going to be difficult to keep that going.
Just as I say that, I think Schusse went quite wide into the corner as we're having another look.
Yeah, it is more of an opportunistic thing, really, from T5. He just recognizes Schusse going wide pretty early and has time to set it up.
And he got past as well. In the end, into the following sequence of corners here, squeezing in on the inside, taking that third place away from Schusse. And that's T5 Black for Simpact up into third place. It's still 0.9 of a second, so status quo. Since last time our two leaders came across the start-finish line. Sailor.
An interesting thought that just hit me. T5 Black is indeed racing his newly built home design, basically. Simracing he made and designed and built with, I think, his, was it his wife's sister's husband or something like that? So that's a pro tip for you guys. Build your own rigs. Is what
With
I'm
your
trying to
wife's
say.
sister's husband. Important detail there.
Sure. Building rigs brings the boys together.
So
boys.
Sparks
boys.
pitting in. Rejoining in 7th place. That means it's now Schusse 4th, Sailor 5th, Vierpin in 6th. Then Sparks and Ayrton Spenner rounding off top 8. Ayrton Spenner doing well to be within the top 8 in the first place. Having climbed through the field in the early part of the race. And then suffering a spin. Now trying to recover from that. Nico on a personal best lap with 0.2 of a second, still getting caught by Aura.
And they're both just slipping and sliding.
They are really dancing, both of them.
And this squabble seems to be all but over.
I think you're right there, Maarten. New fastest lap of the race for Aura. That's a 1:37.3. That is fast indeed. Impressive pace being put down by the TX3 German here. Who's now pushing for the race win. This late game stage of affairs, if you will. T5 Black still half a second down to Schusse. Further down the order, it's Sailor and Vierpin also still very close, separated by around half a second. Here we're on with the Wang Cam from the Norwegian in 5th place. And Giacomo Tomsoft is in 9th at the moment, having suffered some bad luck earlier in this race. And whoop, with a bit of a slide there, but left a bit on an island also with good gaps both in front and behind. And they're really just split into pairs. If you look at the mini-map, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, and then even 7 and 8 almost as well.
Oh, that's cute.
It's been a good day of Aston Martin tandem drifting.
It's still nice to see that we have such an amount of battles for position going on at this late stage of the race. The action still very much alive. the tension and excitement equally so.
Oh, and a big run for Aura there, coming down the straight here.
Indeed it is.
He's very much closing it up.
Having a big old look as well.
Trying the mind punt.
Yeah.
Getting very close here. This is the moment when Nico can bet it all. Not too big of a slide from him. That is one of those places where you see it sliding through a couple of gears even. With the incline still happening as you're getting on the throttle.
T5 gaining on shots as well as Sailor. Trying to fend off Vierpinnen. And is doing a good job so far. Behind these two, it's Sparks and Ayrton Spanner. Have a look back with the leaders here because they are closer. And closer they are.
Oh, Nico really giving it everything he has. Big tank slapper there on the curb again. That curb is giving them some trouble, but we haven't seen it claim a name just yet. Hopefully everyone will be able to make it through. The Swedish survivor still doing well there in third place as well. The gap is being maintained to Schosse, who probably won't have much to fire with, given that he's been fuel saving for such a long time.
And his tires are being spent by now as well. I think Schosse is in some sort of trouble. And Aura getting closer and closer now. And there should be possibilities still. What is this? 5 laps remaining.
Nico forced to go defensive. Aura's really trying. He's not waiting for the last lap to get it done. He's going.
He's really going for it. I think he gets the run here down towards turn 4. And this could be the opportunity that the German has been waiting for. He led early days. Nico claimed the leader. There's a bit of contact between the two. Into turn 4 they go. Aura, can he get the car turned? Oh, this is
Definitely
close.
gets the car turn, keeps it going. Nico gets a
they
good exit.
both get big tank slappers there. Aura with a huge one. Jesus Christ. Let's have another look at that one.
Jesus Christ! That was very close to getting it all wrong there.
That goes for both of them. I think actually Aura might just have tapped the grass with his left rear tire. Impressive that it didn't go more wrong than that, if that's the case. And a huge battle it's been developing into this one between Nico 18 of the Clean Racing Network and Aura of TX3.
Coming across the line to make it lap 30, so that's 4 laps left to settle it for first place.
4 more laps of defending for Nico. And by now I think his heart...
He's got to be looking at that lap counter just going, Jesus. Those are going to be 4 long laps.
Oh, there's a bit of a touch there. There's another one. They're getting heated.
Nico's trying to squeeze and Aura's definitely not having any of it. He's going.
This time I think Aura has the run. He goes to the outside.
We've seen him being able to maintain the momentum around the outside here.
Oh, he gets a touch. He gets a touch. Oh, is he sent off? I think so.
He keeps it in.
I
Well
was
done
not
by-
expecting him to keep that in.
No, well done by Aura to keep that alive, but he's in a rush now to make up the time gained.
And this is hard racing, but they are going to have to be careful not to run anyone off, because that's not the way we want to see this end. All bets are off the table. And there's a lot of rubbing going on. Aura catching up back up to Nico really quickly as well.
He does seem to...
We need to right now. We need to turn the ventilation up to max in Aura's car to prevent the collection of any red mist that might be gathering in the car after that very aggressive move. I think he is really feeling himself here. The next move will be an aggressive one, so watch out for that.
Also some hard defending from Nico 18, not giving an inch.
hard but fair. He seems to really pick his lines well and stick to them.
Big
Or
slide.
giving it absolutely the boot coming up through there. A big run as well. The gap is coming down again.
Dirten's gotten passed on Sparks, by the way. The Brit's still real close in behind. The battle for 6th place, but we're going to focus our attention to the lead battle. 0.6 of a second, so Aura having lost a little bit yet again now. Certainly an interesting one.
Aura desperately trying to catch back up to Nico, but he doesn't really quite seem able to pull it off just yet.
A big part of the challenge racing this car with no traction control, with pretty simple, with a pretty simple and pretty brutal power unit. It's mostly about just modulating that throttle perfectly, and I think once you really get a bit of the red mist going, that's a really difficult thing to do. And we have seen Aura slipping and sliding through every important corner exit for the last little bit here. That was actually pretty collected from him. Just as I say that, reverse curse of the commentator.
But it's worth noting that earlier in the race, in the very early part, Aura was leading and was being the faster of the two drivers. Then at some point, that changed to the advantage of Nico. So if Nico could re-find that advantage at this very late stage of the race, this would perfectly suit him to be able to keep a hold of that first place.
I will say at the moment, if anything, he's slowly building the gap a little bit. It came out to something 0.6 high there for a while. So with the slipstreaming advantage to calculate for as well, he certainly seems to be putting pressure on Aura at the moment. He's not closing the gap up. He hasn't been able to make a move for the last lap and a half or something. And the gap's still here, not within even a remote chance of doing anything.
He's still building. And by the way, while we're looking at this battle, Sparks has made it up past Fearpin and up into 6th place for TX3 as well.
Time is slowly running out for Aura.
Oh, that's a bit of a mistake for Nico. That's cost him a 10th or 2. And that's allowed Aura to get closer yet again. Final lap it is now. And Aura surely is running out of road now. He will need a perfect lap. Oh, look at the launch he gets there.
Big send through T1.
We are gonna have a blinder of a last lap here. Do not blink. Do not turn your back to the TV for some strange reason, because this is it. Nico going defensive there. He didn't need to do that. That's gonna hurt his exit.
Yeah, but he manages to
on the exit there. So
yeah, he manages to really mess up Aura's exits completely. That's really intelligent defending. Superior racecraft there from Nico 18 to take out the sting of the run. Yet there, Aura really getting close though into turn 4. Whew.
But still
Arriving right under the wing of Nico.
Yeah, he almost picked him up there. Doesn't get the best exit here. He's looking to set it up coming into this one, I think.
You know, words of Sailor catching up to Shazza. Gonna be able to bring our eyes off of this battle here for the lead. Although it does seem to be
Aura's
Nico
gonna need
18.
a mistake by this point.
Yeah, it's all in the hands of Nico now. He's done everything he had to do, defended so well for the last many laps. And right now, all it takes is no mistakes.
0.3 of a second between our two leaders as Nico 18 takes the checkered flag of round 1 of this Simpact Aston Martin series in these DBR1s. What a race it's been. Fantastic stuff as T5 Black comes home to complete the podium for Simpact. It's just a 4th for Netzo. And TX3 again in 5th place there with Sparks actually claiming a place there from Sailor on the final lap. And Fearpitten as well, so some action going down in the midfield as well. Here are a very quick glance at the results. What a race, lads.
What a race.
That was crazy. That was really good.
Incredible stuff. And a big congratulations, of course, to Nico for a very strong showing there. It got a little
really
rough.
Good performance. He did look a bit under pressure early days as Aura was really putting on the pace, but he certainly managed his race well, managed his fuel saving well, played it pretty much to perfection, and really at the end there he certainly had the pace to hold off Aura as well. There was a couple of laps there where Aura could do nothing but chase, so well deserved.
That's true, very much so. An amazing race all the way through the grid, from top to bottom. Basically, we've had great racing all over. It's been unpredictable, it's been eventful, and it's been on a very, very high level as well. So a strong return for Simpact into the world of GT Sport organizing.
Absolutely. Yeah, and a really nice setup as well with a support race that's entertaining and long enough and of a high enough quality that it's interesting to watch, but not something that ends up taking up an hour before the race or something like this. That's also much appreciated from a broadcasting standpoint. So a really nice looking setup here. So make sure that you tune in for the next ones coming up.
Every Thursday.
Every Thursday,
in what, 6-8 weeks or so. Gonna be a lot of good action right here on the channel. It's gonna be brought to you on a regular basis by me and Traels, with maybe more guests like Maarten did today. Maybe we can get Sokio on for another one or so. It's been great having Maarten along, of course. It was pretty much just something that happened right before, but
Pretty much.
but it's been great
That's the
fun.
best ones, isn't it?
It certainly is. I think it's time to round it off for tonight, for the sake of my neighbors as well. Just a loud voice. I can't really keep it down, but what a grand pleasure it's been having you all along for this broadcast tonight.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Much appreciated. We hope to see you again on the channel soon, and have a great night.
And a great upcoming weekend. Speaking of weekend, we've got the IGTL coming up, the Team Nations Cup from Blue Moon Bay, with qualifying on Saturday night and the race on Sunday night as well. So there is definitely things to look forward to as well. With that said,
and speaking of things to look forward to, we also have the Sebring 12 hours coming up just in a short 10 days time. So that's going to be a weekend of iRacing, the one after the IGTL. So we're back on track in terms of having some stuff to do, having a bit on the schedule, and that's going to be great. So see you soon, guys.
Indeed. Thanks for tuning in, and on this finishing note from Maarten, Traels, and myself, until next time, take care, have fun, and bye.